All right, so probably the number one question I've gotten since I bought the Charger Hellcat widebody is, why did you trade your Tesla Model 3 Performance for that Hellcat? So let's get into it. Here's the 5 reasons why I traded my Tesla Model 3 Performance for a 2020 Charger Hellcat widebody. Don't get me wrong, the Tesla was a pretty good looking car, but it was kind of lacking something. You know, when you have a car that you really like, or you really love, I should say, and you park it, you're walking away, we've all done it, look back again maybe as you go a little further, stop, get your phone out, take a picture because it's sitting just perfect. But the Tesla it lacked that a little bit for me. As far as the looks go, I mean, I had people come up to me and say, hey, so-and-so got a car just like yours. And they did. It looked just like mine. It may have not have been a Performance Model 3, but it was a Model 3. And it just really didn't look all that different. Again, sometimes it's a good thing to mix in with the crowd a little bit if you want to drive a little aggressively and kind of stay under the radar, so to speak. But you also want it to grab your attention, get your heart beating a little bit hard when you look back at it. And the Tesla just didn't really do that for me. The Charger Hellcat widebody, on the other hand, man, when I first saw this thing, it was like instantly I fell in love. I could not stop thinking about it. I'm looking at pictures online constantly, reading articles. I'm looking at the car on the dealer's website. I mean, it started haunting me. I could not stop thinking about this car. Some of you may have thought this might be a little higher up on the list, but honestly, the Model 3 Performance sounded kind of cool. You know, when you get those dual motors humming, when you're really into it, kind of had a cool futuristic sound. But it was still missing something for me. And if you grew up around muscle cars, or you know, you're just a fan of a good sounding V8, there's really no comparison. There's just something about the Hellcats. Not only does it have the V8 sound, but it's got that supercharger whine. I mean, it's like, listen to that. Oh man, so good. Got a little sideways right there. It really just, it changes the driving experience. It really does. I know what you're probably thinking if you've read about Teslas. Panel gaps, right? You know, mine actually wasn't too bad. It didn't have anything that really struck my OCD nerve when I looked at it as far as panel gaps go. It was pretty good. What wasn't good was the paint. I can't even explain to you how bad the paint quality was on my Model 3 Performance. We went on a drive in the Model 3 up to the mountains, you know, at a pretty good rate, just kind of having fun, cruising, hitting some corners hard, and I'm sure the road was a little dirty. We get back and I'm looking over the car, had a fun day, took the kids with me, so they had a good time too, and I see the rocker panels just ahead of the rear wheels. It looked like somebody sandblasted them. I mean, it looked so bad, and that was one drive. The car had less than 3,000 miles on it at the time, and it was already just, for me, I'm OCD when it comes to little things like that. I try not to be. I don't know, I can't help it. And I couldn't believe it. It looked terrible. So on the flip side, the Charger, again, this is pitch black, so much better, man. The quality of the paint is 100 times better. Just the fit and finish of the interior itself is a lot better. The Tesla almost felt a little budget, you know. I was cool. Had the big screen and everything, but I don't know. Just didn't feel like it was quite up to par for a nearly $60,000 car. Well, I guess if you spec it with full self-driving, you're over $60,000. So for that price, you know, I expect a little bit more. You know, with a Tesla, you don't really know why the person bought one. They could be just wanting to save on gas. Maybe they're like me and they wanted something fast that was fun to drive, and they're an enthusiast, but you're just not sure. When you see a Hellcat, you know that the person driving it is an enthusiast. They have a love for cars. They bought something that most people won't even look at because they just don't think it's practical. And honestly, it's probably not, but it's awesome. So, hey, there's that. But I just lost that connection, I suppose. And for me, I grew up around muscle cars. My dad, you know, he had an old school Mopar that's just awesome. He still has it. Videos to come on that. I felt like I lost some of that connection with my dad and with my childhood growing up around these Mopars. And I really started to miss that a lot. But just, you know, having that like-minded passion and love for cars like this, even if it's somebody in a Z01 or a Z06, GT350, GT500, any of the newer cool muscle cars or sports cars, you just have that connection. You don't even have to say anything. You can look over and it's like, yep, I get it. And you don't get that with a Tesla. So this is kind of everything all rolled up into one. And don't get me wrong, like I said, the Tesla was cool. It was pretty fun. It was fast. Honestly, it felt faster than the Hellcat does. Just because the power was so immediate. The 0 to 60 was just ridiculous in that thing. It felt really fast. But that's almost where it ended for me. It had that cool fast feeling, but it didn't overly stimulate your senses like the Hellcat does. It's everything you can think of when it comes to driving a cool, fast, good sounding car. Manually shifting, you know, going through the gears, rev matching on downshifts, just watching that tach rise up to 6,200 RPM, the shift light come on, hitting that next gear, spinning the tires a little bit, maybe going a little bit sideways. That's just not something you get with the Tesla. And the Tesla is so cool. If you're considering getting one, but you're like me and you have that background of being around muscle cars and fast, good sounding V8s, get something that you can still drive on the weekends, that sounds good, that you can, you know, have fun with. It might not, even if it's not the quickest, just something that sounds cool, maybe even a manual, because we all know those are awesome. But, you know, have that and then get the Tesla as your fun, fast, daily driver. But if you can have just one, and what I've talked about so far is kind of, you know, it hits home with you, then you got to go with the Hellcat. Those are the 5 reasons why, or 5 of the main reasons, I should say, why I traded my Tesla Model 3 Performance for this 2020 Charger Hellcat wide body. And man, I'm having a lot of fun with this car. I'm excited to share these experiences with you guys.